Welcome to This Explainer. Listen, if you're a woman feeling absolutely confused right now because your body suddenly feels like a total stranger, you are in the exact right place. We're going to map out exactly why this is happening, validate what you're feeling, and most importantly, show you what you can do to take back control of your health. All right, let's just dive right into it. Have you been sitting in a doctor's office being told your blood work is perfectly normal, but you're still dealing with crushing daily exhaustion or anxiety that just comes out of nowhere? Let me tell you right now, you are not alone, and it is absolutely not all in your head. So many of us spend years managing these symptoms without ever realizing the entire system underneath is shifting. It's this invisible transition that kicks off in your late 30s or 40s. Medical professionals actually call this the perimenopause paradox. Think about it. On one hand, you are at the absolute peak of your life stage. You've acquired wisdom, you're crushing it in your career, and your confidence is dialed in. But on the other hand, your physical reality is battling brain fog, fatigue, and unpredictable anxiety that honestly makes you feel like you're losing your grip. And it's incredibly confusing because these symptoms are just so sneaky. I mean, joint pain when you wake up, heart palpitations out of nowhere, sudden bloating, dry eyes, thinning hair. These are rarely flagged as hormonal. Actually, most doctors treat these as like 30 separate problems, writing them off as just getting older or being stressed. But really, they're all connected to the exact same shifting infrastructure inside of you. Section 1. The brain-ovary connection. It's neurological, not just hormonal. So the crucial point here is that these hormones, they aren't just for reproduction. They are literally the infrastructure of your brain and your nervous system. Estrogen manages your brain's thermostat and your feel-good serotonin. Progesterone, that's your body's natural calming agent. It works with GABA to quiet down your nervous system. And testosterone supports your muscle synthesis and energy. So when these start this uneven, erratic decline, your entire system feels the shockwaves. Let's look at a pretty famous example of this shockwave. When estrogen fluctuates erratically, your brain's thermostat, the hypothalamus, literally misfires. This is the actual biological mechanism behind those sudden, intense hot flashes and night sweats. The window your brain uses to regulate heat physically narrows down. So a slightly warm room or even a tiny moment of stress triggers a full-blown emergency cooling response. You aren't just feeling warm, your biological thermostat is stuck. Moving to Section 2, decoding sleep and energy. Why you are wired but tired. Okay, have you been waking up totally alert in the middle of the night with a racing mind? Well, here is what's actually happening. Cortisol, that's your stress and wakefulness hormone, naturally begins its morning rise around 2 or 3 a.m. Usually calming progesterone balances this out, so you sleep right through till morning. But without that calming progesterone, your natural cortisol spike wakes your brain up entirely too early. You aren't suddenly a bad sleeper, your timing system just lost its buffer. And this nightly sleep debt triggers a massive cascade effect. It actively raises your baseline cortisol, which drops your insulin sensitivity. Suddenly, your body starts handling carbohydrates completely differently, and falling estrogen shifts your fat storage directly to your abdomen. So look, if you're frustrated because you're eating exactly the same, moving exactly the same, but gaining weight around your middle, you're right. The rules of your metabolism changed, but your approach hasn't caught up yet. Section 3. Understanding the mood shifts. Your emotional volume knob is stuck on high. I really need you to hear this clearly. This is not a personality change, and it's absolutely not a mental health crisis. If you are feeling disproportionate rage, sudden tearfulness over, a dropped sock, or a sense of dread that has no clear cause, you are not going crazy. Your brain chemistry is simply fluctuating wildly, dropping your feel-good serotonin and your common GABA levels. Your nervous system is responding to the exact same life triggers it always had, just with far less capacity to absorb them. And then there's the brain fog. This one terrifies so many of us. If you are walking into a room and completely forgetting why, losing common nouns mid-sentence, or feeling like just thinking takes immense effort, what you're looking at is erratic estrogen slowing down your brain processing and blood flow. Crucially, and listen to me on this one, for the vast majority, this is absolutely not early Alzheimer's or cognitive decline. It fluctuates with your hormones, and it is a temporary recalibration. Section 4. Daily habits to stabilize. A practical toolkit to reclaim your baseline. So first up, to combat that dreaded 2 a.m. cortisol spike and support your fracturing sleep architecture, you literally have to manually reset your body clock. Step 1 is getting consistent morning daylight exposure in your eyes as soon as you wake up. This anchors your cortisol for the day and helps signal melatonin production for later that night. Pair this with a strict sleep schedule, just to give your shifting nervous system as much predictability as humanly possible.
Second, to naturally boost your serotonin and support your changing metabolism, you need to swap aggressive calorie restriction, which honestly only spikes your stress hormones further, for consistent movement. Gentle daily movement naturally boosts your mood, while weight-bearing resistance training is simply non-negotiable. Remember, your testosterone is declining, meaning your muscle mass is at risk. Building muscle raises your resting metabolic rate and tells your body to burn energy efficiently.
Third, because your insulin sensitivity has naturally dropped during this transition, you've got to actively prioritize blood sugar stability. You can do this by focusing on balanced, whole food meals, really leaning into a Mediterranean-style diet rich in healthy fats. And crucially, prioritize adequate daily protein. This doesn't just fuel your brain and clear the fog, it preserves that vital muscle mass we just talked about. Fourth, you have to actively calm your nervous system. Since your natural progesterone brake is kind of failing, you have to apply the brake manually. Deep breathing exercises, cognitive behavioral therapy techniques, or even simple mindfulness apps tell your body it is safe, directly lowering that cortisol. Also, keep up optimal daily hydration. It supports cellular health, calms the nervous system, and can actually even help with those sudden temperature spikes. I want to leave you with this thought. You are not broken. Your body is simply asking for support. This whole transition is an evolution, not a breakdown. You do not have to white-knuckle your way through it, suffering in silence. By actually understanding the underlying biology, you can stop fighting yourself and start giving your body the exact tools it needs to stabilize. So, armed with this explainer of your own biology, what's the first practical step you're going to take today to reclaim your sleep, mood, and energy? Will it be morning sunlight, upping your protein, or taking 10 deep breaths when the anxiety hits? Choose one, start today, and step confidently into your body's next chapter. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer, and keep learning.